So I start here where we have left the scene, but I want to have something more dramatic here in the sky. Maybe this one, or this cotton candy looks maybe more promising. I don't know. We will see what finally works, and the idea here is to have more texture in it so you can see finally what's going on. So maybe something else. I don't think so. That would give me here more visibility for it. So the idea here is, of course, first to show what can happen when you do something else. First of all, to make that editable. And I go here maybe with 12 segments only into the game, make that editable, and then I go back to my bake option and bake it. And you might see immediately that we run into some troubles here. You see here these triangles. This is exactly what you have here on top. It's triangle related. And this is a clear sign that you use now exactly the UV information instead of the render perfect version. So I go here back to my normal sphere, to the primitive, and I render this exactly with this low polygon count again. I override this because I don't want to have it, and I could even uncheck the rendering. So now it's doing the same thing here. It's overriding here. You see there's something going on with the override, and it's gone now. So, and even with the low polygon count that we have set up here, 12 segments only, we have a nice image finally with no edges. If you see those edges somewhere, you can go, of course, ahead, change maybe the resolution, change maybe the whole sphere into something completely different, maybe hexahedron or so, and then hop over to body paint and paint over those areas. Maybe not the ideal case from the start to just sacrifice your quality by making something like that editable. So I go here back to 24, to the standard that we normally have, and I show you another case where we can screw this up. And it's maybe not that visible, but when we go here only with 0.1 into the scale, and I render this here again, bake, and yes, I override this, and normally I expect to get exactly these little triangles back. And that's not funny to see just with this small little change that we get already these trouble here again. And let me open this in Photoshop. As you can see, we have here really a problem. If we use exactly this sphere again, we might not run into problems, but sometimes we can see here the background color. As you can see now, why it is important maybe to choose a background color that is similar to the sky, which is of course problematic. We have here a more whitish color, here a more pale blue color, and so we will not really fit something into that. So what happens if we get an image like this? Of course, as I said, we can put this into body paint and paint over the pole caps when we have changed the geometry for that. Or what I normally do when I have, for example, fisheye options here where the pole caps mostly don't fit to my taste, then I can go here to filter and to flaming pair. Flexify 2 is my secret weapon for that, and I have already there some of my presets, and you find maybe this here. Just a sec, it needs to switch, and this is the version, and you have to set this to Zenith and Nadir, and then you can see here is the problem. When I click now OK, then we will see that we can go now with a stamp tool and fix the whole thing here up. It's normally relatively fast and easy. In this case, for the flow object, we have nearly no work. Here it's maybe a little bit more difficult, and I do this here really on the run. And that's normally not the quality that I prefer, but you get roughly the idea where I'm heading with that. So I put a little bit more life back into that, and one more so to have the texture here done. And with these two pole caps I can go back to flaming pair, Flexify 2, and wait for it, and then I try to get here exactly this setting. It needs a second, and now it calculates this back where it was before, and now all of that is gone. And I'll show you what I have created. It's pretty much only here, these top sides, and the beauty is it's in 32-bit. Anything else is for me anyway pretty much out of discussion, and I can flatten this image now, and now I have exactly what I have before. Works in many cases, it's pretty simple and easy to use, and it's not so expensive. But of course, BuddyPaint 3D works in the same way, and you can put this here on a sphere and you work immediately with an undistorted image, because when it is on a sphere, it's exactly how it should be. Okay, back to Cinema 4D. So back to our little experiment. Of course, you can use your filters and set everything in the way you want to get exactly the image that you need. But more importantly, what I want to show you here is, of course, not only the problems. I want to play for 1 second with it. And what I have in mind is sometimes you don't need a sky that is just as it is. You need maybe something more dramatically. And for example, you could use here the twist on it. And the twist gives you the option just to twist it. And when you twist the whole sky, and even in an animation, the result is then, of course, rendered from the start as this sphere here is, with the problems of these little jaggies. I have shown you how to get rid of these triangles here, but the whole sky is now a little bit twisted, and this gives a complete different sky, maybe bad weather or something like this. And I don't know when your project needs something like this, but perhaps someday it is in this way needed. Another nice thing is here, for example, the explosion. And when I put this underneath and take only few of these into the air and bake this here again, I get maybe a nice graphic from whatever you work on. And maybe this is also something for a poster or whatever. I only want to push you in one direction with that, just to think about what you can do in terms of damage to the image, and sometimes that's exactly needed. Of course, try out whatever you like, pretty much everything works here, and you can do, of course, other objects here. You can create, for example, here with the arc and with the lathe your own little areas. That means no pole caps, and so you get just a panorama if you don't need the top and the button. And there's more, of course, possible. Play with it, find the shapes that makes the most sense to your panorama, and you will see there is more than most people think from the start. Thanks for listening and have fun with it. Bye bye.